Okay, part four. It's 3:11 in the morning, but this is what happens when you're old and you fall asleep a little too early, right? So let's continue. Let me start off by saying this. I imagine at some point somebody's going to show all of this to his wife. So Lee, you chose this life. You chose this life. You chose to support him in his bullshit. And if you can't see what a pathological liar he is, I don't know even what to tell you. But he cons lots of women in the movement, and I mean, he hurls insults just more severely than the people who are hurling insults at him. He's a terribly immature child. He's absolutely a petulant child. And he takes credit for all of our work. Uh, he's not, I know that you're not really involved in politics, but we are, and we know that he's a fraud. And this is why he's having so many problems. And this is why he can't get work. This is why nobody trusts him. Okay. So, anyway, let's go. All right. I'm going to share screen, share sound. Let's go. Let's continue with this nonsense. I'll go for another few minutes or something. I'm only 25 minutes in, you guys, and it's an hour and 7 minutes long.
You know, I don't think at the time I really wanted to say that's what was happening, but that's what was going on, generally speaking. So, this is a really tough situation because I've been working real hard to get my live stream started back up. I've been working real hard to try to help people and work on the next round of unemployment benefits because Delta's about to hit us really hard. And the next 3 weeks, a lot of people are going to be changing their tune about what's going to be necessary for the next couple of months. So there's a lot of work to be done. And folks like these are just trying to distract from the important work that needs to happen. And they're going to get in the way of it using their egos as the topic instead of what really needs to happen. Now, at the end of the day, Robert Leahy went way too far. And I might actually go, I don't really ever report someone to the police that I threaten to because it's just something you just broke the law. I like to tell people when they broke the law.
By the way, we think that he actually may have tried to file a police report and like nothing came of it because nobody committed any illegal actions. And this dude is just he's a bully. He's a coward and a bully. And he tries to use his audience to manipulate you and beg for, by the way, you'll notice, I don't know if I'm going to get through the entire video, but you'll notice like at the end, he drops his fundraising links. So he literally does to me in this live stream what Tim Canova did to him in 2018 by throwing out a smear campaign against Don. But it was a fundraising drive, what he did. And that's what Don's making me into right now. And just to remind you, the entire reason that he did an hour plus long video about me was because I told him that I was getting contacted, that he was claiming that he's the father of Medicare for All, that he invented it, and that he needed to put more context around whatever it was that he claims he did in 2017 to advance Medicare for All. That's literally why he did this video.
Law, so maybe they won't break the law with someone that will take it all the way. But it's shocking. It's shocking to me. Now, I one time I got harassed by Brandon DeGraff, and I did this. This is true. I pulled this maneuver on someone. I got harassed by Brandon DeGraff. I just tweeted about it a little bit ago. If you don't follow me on Twitter, at Word of Dawn, or The Word of Dawn, which I don't know, maybe I should change that. Sounds like I have a complex. He hounded me for like 4 months. And he basically was this young kid who had a different vision for how the primary was stolen because he wasn't really on the ground. He was watching from above. And Nico House convinced him that he should do all this work. And it was a combination of Nico and Tim. You got to remember, Tim Canova was pretty vicious in getting people to attack other people for him. And I have text messages. Well, no, I don't have those anymore. I might not. Maybe I do. That's a long time. It's old. It's like 2017. It's a long time ago, so I don't even remember which phone that is. I gotta go figure it out. But we had messages where he was basically threatening, or he wanted me to go and threaten other people on his behalf. And I was like, dude, I do strategy. Like, you don't, that's not really using me. Like, I'm not a sword to go at it. Like, I help you, I sharpen swords. And he just kind of, it was too vicious. It was too vicious and ineffective. And that's the same thing that got turned on me. Now, I have released the email, by the way, the full email between me and Tim Canova, explaining exactly why he had his meltdown. Now, the reason I never released the email is because it actually tells a couple of secrets about AOC's campaign strategy that I don't really tell. So it's one of those things that, like, because AOC's and Tim Canova's campaigns were linked to each other, but no one knew it because I was doing a thing. And it's because the election integrity issues between the two districts were the same. So there were elections that weren't going to be, there were winnable races because they weren't going to be tampered with. Now, Tim just couldn't stay. Tim just didn't do anything right the second time. And I do feel largely responsible on account of not fundraising for him the second time. But the irony of that is all these smear campaigns that many of you witnessed or have experienced or seen me go through were all because Nico House wanted control of all this stuff, not knowing that I was also the fundraising that he was trying to steal. So when they blocked me on all those Bernie groups, they were actually cutting off the fundraising that they would normally have gotten had they been in their position. Because they didn't actually need to cut me off for them to get what they wanted. This is not necessary. There's so many.
I cannot confirm or deny how successful he is in fundraising. And I know for a fact that he cannot actually quantify what he may or may have not done. But he thinks that his digital presence is really huge. And there are a lot of people within the movement who dispute that and say, well, it's not as huge as you think. I don't know that he can actually quantify what he has or has not done for these campaigns in regards to fundraising. I don't think that's actually his expertise. I think that he has certain relationships within the movement in which he brings things to people's attention, who those people then actually have the skills and they can be successful. And so that's kind of where, when he says that he's trying to raise money for people or he's trying to get phone bankers or whatever, it's because he has traveled the country and he's made relationships with people. So he thinks that just by bringing a candidate's cause to their attention, that he has now done something wonderful for these campaigns by bringing it to somebody else's attention who actually has the skills, because he does not have the skills as far as I've observed.
Any roles in the movement, like, you don't need to take a role from somebody else. If you see someone else with a role in the movement that you really like, chances are you can have either that almost precise one or the one directly adjacent to it, because you need multiple people for different roles. No, you don't need to knock someone out to make yourself better. We're all supposed to lift each other up together. And that's where we're back to this situation of tonight, I got doxxed by someone who used to be an ally who I helped on his little claim to fame business.
Once again, he did not get doxxed. Doxing involves taking your personal information and publicly publishing it. You were not doxxed, Don. No personal information about you was put out online or circulated or shared or anything else. So you need to stop making that accusation, because that didn't happen to you.
He's the only thing he's really well known for. And he turned around and potentially gave that private information to the woman who has been stalking me, who I am essentially trying to hide from.
He did not give me any information, and Don is not trying to hide from me. He, in fact, is trying to find me at conventions, which is why I left the KDM Long Beach convention, because I saw that he showed up after watching my live streams.
So I want everyone to process that for a minute. And that's actually why I chimed at the live stream, because this has just gotten so wildly out of control, and Jenna is lying her ass off to everyone. And the crazy thing is that people believe it. They believe her. They think that this is real.
Why in the world would they believe somebody who actually has a history of telling the truth over somebody who has a history of embellishing and making up stories? I can't imagine why, Don.
They look at me and go, oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, you see how Don talks, so clearly he has problems. And you're like, that's the most fucked up thing you could possibly say about someone, because it's such a jump. And it's usually the quiet ones that is the problem. It's usually the, guys, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, it's more sinister than that. Like, if I was a truly sinister person, I wouldn't be protecting people from sinister people online all the time. I wouldn't be helping people with problems.
He looked me in the eyes at KDM San Francisco and tried to give me a ration about how the LA Progressive Network is so toxic and that he would never behave that way. And then he looked me in the eyes and said, okay, I know I was toxic to you. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is an abusive person. He knows this. He knows exactly what he's doing.
That no one else is willing to help with. I wouldn't be just going and making random friends on Twitter because people have a random issue and I just Googled it for them. Like, it is illogical. The only thing these people want is they want power and they want control of something that no one can have control of. It's not a thing. There's no control. All you can do is put stuff out there and hope for the best. And so right now, that is really not been very effective for me, actually, because one of the things I've really failed on, and that's I've never really.
Do you see the shaking? The shaking. He's tapping a foot. He's tapping a foot. This is a sign of ADHD. What's going on right here is this constant movement. This constant movement. That is actually a sign of ADHD. I've seen it in several of my family members who have it. It's you have to constantly move. This is a nervous thing that happens with people who have ADHD, which is why I made the comment in my first part of my analysis of this video that it seems like he's potentially taking something like Adderall where he has emotional crashes. But again, I'm not a doctor.
Is occurring to me right now. The one thing I really failed on more than anything is that I haven't really taken advantage of the social power for my own personal problems. I mean, I don't really want people to go and fight my issues for me. I don't really want people to go pick up a sword and get behind me and we'll all go into battle together. That's not really, I'm kind of more more like a Goliath just on my own. It's fine. And right now, I think I'm coming to the point where I'm recognizing that I could pull this off. I could do it on my own. It's always possible. But it's just a hard way to do things. It's not trusting the people around me. And I do have to trust some of the people around me. I appreciate that, Jenny. I do have to trust some people, but the right people. And everyone is always trying to attack trust because, when you're a socialist, and I've realized this, I never really did my videos from a socialist perspective. But when you're a socialist, your power comes from social credit, and social credit is really important to us. That's like people that are people powered, right? You're powered by social credit. That social credit does translate into small dollar donations. That is a thing. So what do people do that want to diminish that power? They just figure out ways to diminish your social credit. They make people. So right now.
By the way, take a look at the equipment that he has. He's in his mom's garage right now. But look at this equipment. This is some expensive equipment. And this dude is supposedly has no jobs, hasn't had jobs in years, and amassed $14,000 last year out of the recovery package while he was refusing to pay his landlord. And so he ended up getting evicted, turned that into a video where he's trying to convince everybody that he was so wrongfully evicted. He's now at his mom's house, right, in the garage, and there's tons of shit in this room. I think they've cleaned it out because I think there's a later video at some point where it looks a bit cleaner than this. or maybe they changed and went into a different room. I don't know. But look at this fucking setup. This guy has like some expensive equipment. And yet he's always telling everybody that he's desperate for money and that you need to donate to him. And he concludes this video with his donation links.
Now, when I'm on Twitter, I have like a rotation with people where and it's kind of gotten really goofy because I don't even think you guys really know how much I did over the years because I have never really promoted all that. I say things, I say, oh, I did this and oh, I did that, but I haven't really gotten into the nitty gritty of it. And because these Twitter people want proof, there's a lot of nitty gritty. There's a lot of old posts. There's a lot of strategies. There's a lot of photos and videos and Instagram posts and things that are time-stamped and screenshots of emails. So many emails. I mean, just how Tim talks to me in the email, by the way, is enough to be like, everything Don is saying is true. Because clearly he knows who I am. And he goes at the end of it, he goes, well, have fun swift boating. And which is precisely what he went on to do to me. Now, if you're too young to know what swift boating is, swift boating, I believe they did to Kerry, right? And that was when these people came out and said, well, he was in the military, but he wasn't really in the military, or something like that. I can't remember. I was a little young for this. Which, by the way, if you want to know a little something interesting about the 2004 general election, Hillary Clinton rigged John Kerry out so that George Bush would be president using Michael Vu in Ohio. The same Michael Vu, who is now the registrar of San Diego, who, by the way, people went to jail for in Ohio when this happened. You can Google this. You can look this up. This is totally real. I found this out. I went all the way there. I went all the way to Ohio. I interviewed Bob. What is his last? He's a major. I assume he's still around. It was a major election integrity voice more on the money making end, but just good. He did good work. And the guy knew so many secrets. He knew so much. I mean, and the thing was, it wasn't like just secrets. It was like he could like verify bits of it. So it was really good.
Okay, let's pause there for a second. First of all, Don seems to believe anybody who talks to him, kind of like Trump. The last person in the room got the word in. I don't know if what he is saying about Hillary's involvement in 2004 is true or not. But I can tell you a little bit about the Swift boater thing because I'm older than Don. Don is 39, I'm 47. In 2004, the GOP came after, they set up a super PAC to come after John Kerry, who was the Democratic nominee. And they attacked him on his military service, which was completely ironic because George Bush was able to skirt serving. He was able to get out of it, right? Like this is what we see with a lot of the Republican candidates is they act like they're military strong, but they totally were draft dodgers, basically. Like they came up with like Elvis Presley type of style of military where they're just like not actually doing anything. John Kerry served 2 tours in Vietnam, and I think he earned a Purple Heart. And the Swift boaters basically came out with these ads in 2004 attacking his service record and saying that he lied about his service record and that he didn't truly earn that Purple Heart. Don is, he accepts so many GOP theories that it's really disturbing. He is very horseshoe. He jumps in on a lot of conspiracy theories. If you look at his Twitter, you'll see that he's very anti-vaxxer at this point. And it's like he's doing the same thing as Jimmy Dore. He's trying to attract an audience of people that are not rational because he's not rational. Look at his face. This is not a rational person, you guys. I thought at the time that I was working with him and doing some projects with him, I thought he was entirely dementor, but he keeps trying to like tap into this whole conspiracy side of things and trying to push forward GOP talking points. And it's really disturbing. But anyway, that is Swift Boner, that particular smear campaign in 2004 against John Kerry was so successful that it actually became vernacular to say swift boating, that it's an actual term for smearing people now. Um, Swift boating. That's literally, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's literally there.
Thank you, Jenny. So, right now we're in this position where all this crazy stuff is happening and all this stuff needs to come out. And I'm getting a little off subject. Let's get back to the main point at hand. And the main point is that I don't want to ever talk about Jenna ever again. I have been officially calling her my stalker. I do not want any connection or communication with her. I would stop saying her name and take down every post with her in it right now if she promised to stop. I'll do it.
An hour on
That's all I want. That's all I want. All I want is it to stop. So just going back to that real fast, when we're talking about like what's going to happen or what's going to go on, they're threatening to sue me. He apparently threatened to come to my mother and my wife. Like they don't know what's going on already, which is like super. I'm going to tell your mommy on you. And we're definitely rounding this corner where people have gone too far. And so it needs to, because if it gets more serious and it goes to court, I'm going to drag up those screenshots. I'm going to drag up all those harassing messages where she threatened all this stuff. And I'm definitely going to get a restraining order. I really don't want to.
Do it, bro. Show me all these screenshots that you supposedly have. I would love to see them. I would love to see these screenshots that you supposedly have. I will absolutely go screenshot war with you. You want to do that? You want to go? You want to go, bitch? You're afraid to debate me. Let's be real. You're afraid to debate me.
To do that. A restraining order is bad for everyone. It's actually bad for people, and I don't actually like the courts. I don't like the cops. I don't like the system. I don't want to have to go use that to regulate on someone. I want someone to just have some sense to be like, oh, okay, we're not going to talk about each other anymore. And now she can be like, oh, well, he did this. No, I didn't do that. And now, by the way, she's totally backtracking. She's totally backtracking on the claim. The whole point that they're trying to make is that because I can't offer proof of the actual claim that she is making of rape itself, that I am saying bad things about her.
Yeah, because he totally made this up. I never made this claim. And his entire excuse here is that he can just basically say whatever he wants about me and then say I'm stalking him and just make all these ridiculous claims about me. And it's his way of trying to silence me because he wants to take credit for all of my work. He doesn't want his wife to know that we had an affair together while he was supposedly, they were supposedly in an open relationship. And he's just a scumbag. He's a slimy dude he's a womanizer. He takes advantage of women in the movement. And he he comes up with these dramatic excuses. I mean, come on, ladies. You all have everybody has dealt with weird men like this, right? Like, I mean, like, it's way more common than it should be. And it's so sad that there are so many dudes like this out there. But I mean, Donna's not the only person I've met like this that just invents shit to cover his shit, because white dudes get away with this crap all the time. They can make up anything they want against you. They can just like totally gaslight you. They could come up with anything. All right, I'm just going to go a few more minutes because it's like the middle of the night.
That's that she's defaming me in a number of ways beyond that. But because I'm drawing issue on that one precise point, they're trying to paint me in the wrong. And it's a real backtrack from when, she was trying to say all this crazy stuff was going on, which she was just saying like 2 days ago. So it is, someone needs to call Robert. I'm telling him to get his shit together. I assume he's probably watching this because, Jenna's probably stalking me again. She stalks everything else I do. So probably my 6 viewers are probably all her people talking about how much they hate me in a secret chat. But this is the reality of what's going on. And this is a truly toxic environment. This is a toxic environment this person is creating. I do not want to be
I did not discover this video until the next day, and it was actually brought to my attention. I'm not watching your fucking live streams. In fact, I hate hearing the sound of your voice, Don. The only reason I'm analyzing this is because you made me the subject of it for over an hour. So yeah, I do need to respond to your fucking accusations against me.
Part of it. I don't want my daughter to be a part of it. I don't want my wife to be a part of it. My wife is well aware of what she's saying and what's going on. She is well aware of the whole situation. She has met her. Jenna wrote an article about her. So
okay, we'll stop. We'll stop here. His wife, by the way, early on, when Bernie announced that he was running for president, his wife wanted to vote for Biden the entire time, and it was such a source for him. He was like really upset by it. His wife is not exactly the brightest bulb, but okay. He kept her because she's young and she made a good vessel to have a child. So, all right, you do you. I will continue to defend myself against your fucking ridiculous claims, but I can't do it all in one shot because you spent so much fucking time doing this. You spent so much time doing this that it's going to take me a while to actually get through the entire fucking video. But anyway, let's stop there.